Okay, you're inside of the That's Good Sports podcast. I'm Brandon Perna here with Will Keys, and you got to be really excited about this episode. If you're here, I am overhyped. I'm overselling it right now. That's how good today's going to be.
Yep.
Will, just a lot of football to talk about today.
There's tons of football. I just figured out, technically, I think we're in the largest podcast studio in the world. It stretches all the way from California to Colorado.
Yeah, it took a lot of money to have a Sacramento/Denver-based podcast studio, but we were able to make it happen with the help of Elon Musk.
Yeah, tunnels, a lot of tunnels.
Today, Will.
Trains.
Just check this out. Today, we have a crazy story from the NFL past. Crazy one that I forgot happened about an axe and a punter and an injury. Mike Tomlin with the Washington head coaching rumors. A little wrap-up of the Richard Sherman Baker Mayfield handshake bullshit. Johnny Bolin threatening to sell the Broncos to Canada via Instagram, I believe. We can discuss how terrible Dan Snyder is as an owner, and then we will go through and make the picks for all of our games this week. And I say ours because you and I own the NFL. And I made some progress this last week. I actually won the game picks. So
yeah, I know.
Week 5, and I finally outpicked you. But it just goes to show that as football evolves through the season, God damn it, and I can actually understand which teams are good and which teams are bad, I am better than you. That
was Roger Goodell calling for your little statement about owning the NFL.
Yeah, you say you own the NFL, and boom, Goodell. No, you don't.
Your phone will detonate in 30 seconds. Luckily, I'm on the other side of the studio, and it won't affect me, making me the first in line to own the NFL.
Yeah, Roger Goodell is going to try to kill me through my phone. Mm-hmm. He has been sending me THC vape pods and telling me to smoke them through my phone, and it sounds fun, but I don't know if I trust him right now, Will.
He's got snipers on the roofs of your neighbors' houses.
Well, good luck, because it's snowing here, Will, and those roofs are going to be very slippery.
Is it really snowing already in October?
Yeah, it's like it was 80 degrees yesterday, and then we're getting our first snow today, and then it should be like 70 in a day or two.
Awesome.
It's just one of those days.
It hasn't snowed here in like 20 years.
Yeah, that's because you're in a climate where that doesn't happen. So it's not that impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about this axe thing first. Okay,
he's got an axe to grind.
So I don't know why Pro Football Talk posted an article about this. I think they were saying something about this axe should be in the Professional Football Hall of Fame. But in 2003, if you don't know, Jaguars punter Chris Hanson picked up an axe in the locker room, swung it at a tree stump, and ended up hitting himself in the leg, leaving blood all over the locker room and ending his season.
And also ending his life. He died.
Yeah, he is dead for sure, but he did come back to play somehow that next season, despite being dead. They're saying that the axe may belong in the Hall of Fame, and I guess they were trying to locate where the axe has been this whole time. And apparently it's been with Mike Perkins, the director of football technology and facilities, who purchased the axe, found the stump that Jack Del Rio put in the locker room after the Jags started 0-3 or some shit. And Del Rio put the axe and stump in the locker room because his motto, like his motivational quote for the team, was "Keep chopping wood."
Keep chopping wood and
Keep
your leg.
chopping wood.
Ironic because Chris Hanson now has a peg leg, a wooden peg leg.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Del Rio's slogan will apply to him now. But that is bizarre. I totally forgot about this. It's got to be the craziest injury to ever happen in a football environment to a player.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think this. I don't know if this is covered by the NFL's insurance.
It has to be.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine he brought the axe himself. I'm sure the axe is already there. And if you leave an axe in the locker room with a tree stump, I mean, you're inviting people to take a swing at it. Am I correct?
Well, I think you're encouraging them with keep chopping wood.
Yeah, I mean, those were the instructions per the head coach.
Keep chopping wood, but this is just a decorative metaphor for, like, we need to seriously fucking play better, guys.
Yeah, and this is obviously Chris Hanson. He only punted for a short amount of time after his leg injury. Went on to host the television show To Catch a Predator.
Liar.
No, it's the same one. It's the same one.
Liar.
Yeah. That's why I still call Scott Hanson Chris Hanson. The red zone guy, Scott Hanson.
Oh, Scott Hanson, Chris Hanson. And then isn't who's the guy who hosts The Bachelor?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch that nerd ass shit.
Oh, please. But you watch To Catch a Predator, so you know what not to do?
I did. Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I know what I mean.
Not to. Okay. Yeah, we'll just cut it off.
I called you. Oh, Chris Harrison. So you got Chris Scott Hanson, Chris Hanson, Chris Harrison.
Yeah.
All basically the same guy.
I'm sure I've told this story, but I saw Scott Hanson once running down the street at me in San Francisco the weekend of the Super Bowl. I mean, you were probably there too. Yeah. I don't know if he did the same thing to you, but he was running directly at me in a full suit, like that scene from Get Out, and he just kept going. And only after he passed me did I realize it was Scott Hanson. But he's wearing a full suit, and he's a tall guy. He's a very tall guy, and I'm not sure why he was sprinting, but I'm guessing he had somewhere to be.
Probably some sort of Super Bowl coverage.
But he reminded me of just like one of those kids that would run to class in their backpack, like in high school.
Just like always, every day they're late running.
Yeah, except a very large version of that.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's huge.
The opposite of Andrew Siciliano, who looks like he would be a big guy because his head is.
Hey, be careful! He can hear you.
No, well, his head's very like meaty and masculine looking.
Yeah,
and I always thought he was like a 6'2" guy, and then one time I saw he's like my size.
Oh, Siciliano?
Yeah, maybe even shorter than me. That's why people come here. How tall are your favorite NFL analyst hosts?
Yep. Let's see. Dave Damashek is 6'5", 240.
No, he's not.
Adam Rank is 5'6", and that's all I really know.
Wait a second. It says Andrew Siciliano 6 feet 5 inches. That's not true.
Not a chance.
Liar. Where did that come from? Now I got to figure out how.
I think I edited the Wikipedia page within the first 5 seconds of hearing that.
Roger Goodell is putting out fires today.
Goodell's a big dude.
He is putting him out.
Yeah.
There's another one that says he's 6 feet 9 inches. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, there's a picture of him being
this.
Very
come on
short.
The show and tell us your real height, so we can put all this speculation to bed.
Yeah, I root for the short guys. So
I know you do.
Okay, Mike Tomlin was asked about being the Washington Redskin Potatoes head coach.
Right.
And he said, basically, why the fuck would I be thinking about that while my team is shitty and I got to play the Chargers on Sunday?
Yeah, and he's playing his third-string quarterback. He's a little more focused on that. The real thing I took offense to was he alluded to Phillip Rivers as a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, and we are very anti-Phillip Rivers in the Hall of Fame here.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I have both been riding that train that we're trying to spread the narrative, and it's not a narrative. It's the truth that Rivers is one of the least clutch quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And he never takes any blame for it. He never takes any blame for the Chargers' failures.
Well, he shouldn't.
Explain.
Well, if I'm an NFL quarterback, I would deflect the blame more than you have ever seen before.
Well, he does. He's very good.
He doesn't
at
even
accepting
deflect
blame.
it. He just, I think, like, he's too nice to the media. So by the time they're done with the press conference, people forget how many times he might have fucked up during a game. And
Possibly.
Just give him a pass. He'll fix it next week. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, he's a good quarterback, except when you really need him to be a good quarterback. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Well, Big Cat from Barstool Sports, he has this thing that pretty much every Sunday you're going to find Phillip Rivers. Every Sunday afternoon, you're going to find Phillip Rivers in the last few minutes of the game, down 7, driving to tie. And almost always it ends up in an interception.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the Chargers' existence.
Oh, it is. It has been for a long time. And the Broncos defense decimated them last week. It was like one of, I guess, Rivers' like worst performances
Ever.
Yeah,
I think – what did Austin Eckler have, like 15 catches?
Yeah, they threw – he checked down to Eckler 15 times in that game.
Unbelievable. Averaged like 4 yards a catch too.
Yeah. What did you think of Keenan Allen talking shit about Chris Harris after Keenan Allen did nothing?
I don't understand it. I really don't understand it.
Keenan Allen, he's
speaking
the worst.
Of real Hall of Famers, that's Chris Harris.
Yes.
It boggles my mind. I'm sure Chris Harris just laughed it off. I think everybody realized he was only like 4 for 18 in that game.
Yeah, he didn't do shit.
Make any sense. Does he think that's a good stat line?
Yeah, and I don't even know how much Harris was on him that day. But didn't Allen do this last year? Like, talk shit after he lost to the Broncos?
I think so, yeah. This seems like a trend for him. I don't get it.
Shit talking that was good this week, though, Will. Richard Sherman, Baker Mayfield, they have both hugged and made up through the airways. Richard Sherman basically forced to apologize after one piece of video evidence after another came out showing that Baker did shake his hand. So Richard Sherman just lied about the whole thing.
It's like if there are 100 Abraham Zapruders that filmed the Kennedy assassination. Yeah. We figured out who did it immediately.
And in today's world, you would. That mystery would have been solved.
CIA was forced to apologize, and they just moved on.
It was bizarre, and really, it was mildly entertaining.
It was bizarre. It was thrilling. My question about this is, can't we just agree to hate both of them?
You could. See, I root for this shit, though. Like,
it was entertaining. But
I like it.
I wish they hadn't made up. We need more grudges in the NFL. It sounded like Nick Bosa and Baker Mayfield have one a little bit because after the game, speaking of people talking shit after a loss, Baker Mayfield said about planting the flag that he's probably been thinking about that loss for 2 years. Kind of said it passive-aggressively.
Yeah.
So he was talking shit about a college game that happened 2 years ago as a way to talk trash after losing, what was it, 28-3? 31-3? Something like that?
28. Well, 31. It was 30. Yeah, it was one of those scores.
A lot too little is the point.
The point is the Browns do not look like a good football team.
No, they don't. They can't protect the quarterback at all. And when they can, Baker Mayfield's throwing interceptions, and their wide receivers are kicking the ball into the air, like Cristiano Ronaldo, straight to the defensive back. It's not a good way to play football. Freddie Kitchens looks way in over his head, but it's bizarre because they have these huge offensive outputs. Well, I should say they've had one huge offensive output this season, and it was against the Ravens. They're like a team though that they can't sustain drives, and they rely on these big plays. And when they don't get a big play, everything seems to fall apart.
Yeah, the Browns they don't look like a mentally tough football team in addition to having –
They look like a mentally ill football team.
In addition to having a bad offensive line, if basically to beat the Browns, all you really have to do is stop Nick Chubb at this point.
Yeah.
Their defense might get better when their corners return, but – This
Probably
is
the 49ers were hiding Jimmy Garoppolo pretty much the entire game. I mean, it helps when you can go up immediately with a long Matt Breida touchdown.
Yeah, anytime you start a game with an 83-yard
right
touchdown,
off the bat,
it works in your favor.
I would recommend it. If you have the choice, I would score a touchdown on the first play every time.
What do you think the Browns finish the season as, record-wise?
6-10.
6-10. That's optimistic.
I think they're easy to figure
at
out.
this point. Yeah, I mean, I think just Freddie Kitchens, I believe, has just a ton to learn as a head coach. Is he calling the offensive plays too?
That I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. But they are a huge disappointment. Just as Booger McFarland has been in the Monday Night Football broadcast booth. What do you got for us there, Will?
Yeah, so the former 49ers tight end, Brent Jones, said about the color man in the Monday Night Football booth that Booger McFarland is a defensive lineman that doesn't know anything about the game, and it's a travesty that's Monday Night Football. Do you agree or disagree? Do you like Tessitore and McFarland in the booth? Or would you prefer to have Witten back?
I don't think I would. If you have to make me choose between that, it's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
I agree with Brent Jones in that when I listen to Booger McFarland, I don't feel like I'm learning anything. I'm not getting any insights about plays. And it does feel like he is not qualified to be a guy analyzing plays and telling you what just happened.
I guess it makes sense.
I find him entertaining. Like, I don't mind listening to him. He probably does need to be part of a 3-man team, but the other guy just can't be Jason Witten. You need like a former quarterback or somebody who's actually going to give you details about what kind of went on during a play.
Yeah. You definitely need a quarterback in the booth. They always know what's going on, or wide receiver that understands coverages. I mean, when you're a defensive lineman, you spend the game just like staring at the only thing you see is an offensive lineman and occasionally a quarterback. You don't see what's going on behind you, which is 75% of the game.
You just got gap assignments, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Basically,
I'm supposed to push this way to get to the quarterback, or push this way.
Especially Booger, like he was there to basically eat up space for most of his career.
Offensive linemen usually, I feel, are pretty good too.
Centers are good because they call out blitzes and they have to understand defenses really well. I mean, all offensive linemen do if they're good.
But honestly, how much do you really need to learn from a Monday Night Football game? Does it matter?
I feel like I learn a little bit when I watch Sunday Night Football, and it's very popular to hate on Chris Collinsworth, and I did a little bit of it after he ruined several pairs of slacks on Sunday Night Football talking about Patrick Mahomes. on his way to scoring 13 points.
Yeah.
But Collinsworth really, really knows what he's talking about.
And I think Collinsworth is a good way. Yeah, I think he's good in terms of if you're wanting to get tidbits about the game, he's solid there. It's just when he gets excited about players, it feels forced, and then he gets like too excited.
That's the thing is he was going, oh, stop it to Patrick Mahomes. And he listened, and Patrick Mahomes stopped. He took his advice, and he did not throw another touchdown pass.
After Collinsworth was like, we've seen John Elway, we've seen Brett Favre, we've seen Aaron Rodgers, but this, oh my God, Mahomes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very impressive touchdown pass.
It was, yeah.
Although, his receiver was wide fucking open. It wasn't – it's impressive because he has the arm strength. He moved to extend the play and make it happen.
I've seen more impressive plays from someone like Randall Cunningham from, obviously young Elway was super elusive.
Yeah.
And could do stuff
without
like
an
that.
ACL. Come on, guys.
Yeah, Brett Favre, even Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers still does it.
Plenty on
Carson Wentz does it. Deshaun Watson does it a lot. All these guys do some crazy shit every week.
Russell Wilson, we saw one of the best touchdown passes ever, I think, from Russell Wilson on Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, Wilson does it.
Dropped it into a 1x1 inch spot for Tyler Lockett to catch it on the side of the end zone. That was probably the most impressive throw.
There's some insanely athletically gifted quarterbacks playing football right now.
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
We saw Joe Flacco convert
Tom Brady
with his legs.
Yep.
We'll get into some of those guys. I have notes for their games.
We have to have Adam Rank on after the Broncos get their third win, correct?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
For a formal apology.
Yeah, a long formal apology.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still living in the comfort zone. So
he is, yeah, he is.
Okay, speaking of the Broncos, I saw D-Mac, local radio guy out here, post a screen grab from Johnny Bolin, one of Pat Bolin's sons, and it was from Instagram. And I don't know what the context was before or after this post. I tried to find it, but I was too late. But basically, Johnny Bolin said, it was my dad's greatest dream, because his dad was from Canada, to give Canada an American football team. Very well deserved, and I hope it happens. Drake wants it just as much as me and Pops. I take tremendous pride in the North. Imagine an entire country. Love you, Pops. So my first question is, did Canada get a football team, or is he threatening to send
not that I know of
the Broncos to Canada, which he doesn't have the power to do?
I mean, they do have to give Canada an American football team, I think, is an oxymoron. I guess. I mean, they have something
football.
Like 10 teams. I don't know how big the CFL is. It's weird. The CFL is weird though because it's not really a Canadian football team. It's just kind of like an Ontario league, because all the teams are very, very concentrated close to each other. It's like if we just had like an East Coast league.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's not a lot of representation in the western part of Canada. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's what he wants. I'll just say that I think if the Canadians take Denver, if they take the Broncos, I think it's appropriate to declare war and invade Canada and possibly annex it.
Well, I don't want to start any wars, Will. I will say, though, maybe
technically starting the war.
Maybe Canada could be like London to the Broncos as Jacksonville is.
I don't know if I really want to give up a home game, though.
One Canadian home game every year?
No, I don't think so.
Both Seattle and Buffalo are way closer, though,
Yeah.
Seattle should be doing shouldn't Seahawks have like a Vancouver game every year?
I don't think it's every year.
No, I'm saying shouldn't they?
Oh. It's a good
Wouldn't
question.
that be pretty easy for an international game?
I mean, they could barely get their shit together for a preseason game.
Oh, that's right.
You know,
I forgot about that.
they had to play on an 80-yard field.
That's what game was that? Who was that between the Raiders and the
Seahawks?
Seahawks. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it was featured extensively on Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
I found this nugget. Gardner Minshew is tied for first place in his high school fantasy football league, where Gardner Minshew is still available on the waiver wire. And so none of his friends are picking him to be on their team, and he's been rolling with Kyler Murray to first place in his league.
Yeah, I guess it'd be a conflict of interest because if he was playing himself that week, you think he'd tank the game on purpose, throw a couple picks?
I don't think Gardner Minshew could ever tank a game.
I don't think he's capable, and that's why. That's why he's off limits.
If you're an NFL player playing fantasy football, you should be allowed to have yourself on your team, I think.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But why wouldn't any of his friends pick him up? Is it maybe like to not curse him? Like, oh shit, he's playing good. Let's nobody pick him up. Because this week he was like, or last week he was one of the waiver wire guys you should grab because he's putting up good fantasy numbers.
Yeah, I mean, he's not like depends. Like if you're in an 8-team league or something and you got 2 quarterbacks, I mean, I could see how he's not on anybody's roster necessarily.
Do you think I think the more important question is, how can you trust him to make decisions on a football field if he doesn't have the confidence to pick himself in fantasy?
It's another good question.
Give me a spot on First Morning Take football
on Fantasy Football Live, and I know who we could kick off that show.
Say it.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Michael Fabiano. He's actually 6'8" in real life.
All those NFL Network guys are all over 6'5".
Yep.
Do you want to talk about Dan Snyder and how stupid he is, or should we just go into the
maybe
picks?
briefly. I just want to say, yeah, so the team has sued a 72-year-old longtime season ticket holder. I think the last time a team sued one of
this was a long time ago.
Oh, was it?
Yes. Will.
Okay, well.
Did you even read the paragraph?
Oh, shit, yeah. No, I didn't. Okay, so previously the Washington Redskin Potatoes sued Pat Hill, a 72-year-old longtime season ticket holder. I don't know if that's a man or a woman.
It's a woman.
I will say the last team to sue one of its own fans was the Miami Marlins.
Ooh.
And that led to a change in ownership.
Oh, interesting.
So, hopefully, I hope for all the Redskins fans out there, because they do have good fans generally, and they are in a pretty desperate, hopeless situation. I really hope there's a way they can wrestle that team away from Dan Snyder, who's really, I think, the worst owner in football.
Yeah.
One of the worst in sports.
I think he's
maybe James Dolan.
He is up there. He seems like a terrible person. In the video this week, you put in the paragraph about LeVar Arrington and you not being able to look at Dan Snyder if you were a player, unless you were like
one of the good
quarterback
players,
or really good
players. Yeah,
like there's this weird thing about him with players, like that's bullshit. And then you start to remember like all of the really shitty things he's done, which include suing a 72-year-old woman who the reason she was just trying to postpone like paying for her like tickets during the housing crisis of 2008. The $5,300 seats were getting a little too expensive for her.
You can't afford $5,300.
Yeah, and so not only did they sue her, but she couldn't afford lawyers, and she was forced to pay a default judgment of $66,000. And she was one of 125 season ticket holders who asked to be released from their multi-year contracts, who were sued by the franchise. So that's pretty shitty of an organization to do to its fans. We've seen year after year how poorly the Redskins are managed.
Yeah.
Their refusal to even consider a different name. Like, there's so many things about that team that suck. And
at least they're fielding a good product.
Right.
With I think their quarterback might have been like John Beck with Jim Zorn as the head coach. So at least they had a good team.
They had a good team. They play the Dolphins this week, which we'll get to here in the picks.
Right. This might be the Dolphins' best chance to win a game, if that's something that interests them, which I'm not sure it is.
Yeah, I don't know it because we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, Giants, Patriots, Sunday Night Football. New England favored by 17. And they're at home, right? Of course they don't have to travel on Thursday night.
No, the league would never do that to them.
So the Patriots defense currently allowing just 6.8 points per game. The 2000 Ravens defense gave up 10.3, which is the best, I believe, all time. My question to you, Will, do the Giants score more than 6.8 points in this game without basically any of their best skill players?
I think they score 6.9 points.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Smart. Daniel Jones, if anybody can get that 0.9.
I did the Price is Right strategy.
Oh, did you watch that documentary ever?
I think they'll put up a fight in this game. I think they'll definitely cover the spread. I don't know if they're getting Saquon Barkley back, unless
they're not.
Did they say he's not playing?
Yeah, he's out.
Okay.
He's out. I believe Evan Ingram's out.
Yeah.
Sterling Shepard, I believe, is out. And then Wayne Gallman, I thought was out, but
they get Golden Tate back, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Sorry, just give me 1 second.
I think Golden Tate's worth at least 17 points on offense. I think he's obviously that big of a difference maker in year, 10 for him? No, I think the Patriots defense, obviously, they've been playing some of the worst offenses in the NFL.
Dude, their schedule's been crazy.
They have – okay, this came out this week. As of right now, they have the softest schedule in the history of the NFL. And we were talking about a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. If
they don't go 16-0, they're losers. They really should. If they don't go 16-0, they should be laughed at and made fun of and possibly relegated.
If they don't go 16-0, they should be deemed the worst team in NFL history.
Yeah, it's like,
to ever play.
Basically them and Alabama's playing like Savannah State every week. They're, Nick Saban and Bill Belichick have it figured out is, just keep winning by playing really shitty teams.
It's like – and I know how the NFL schedule works for the most part. Like, you have to play within your division every year, right? And then all the other divisions you do play are kind of in rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're supposed to have like those few other games based on strength of where you finished last year, right?
Yeah.
So some of the teams are playing this year that were supposed to be competitive just aren't now. So It's like it's just by chance too, is what, and it kind of. I mean, their division is the AFC. The AFC East is the worst division of football I have ever seen in one season that I can remember.
It's horrendous. It's really horrendous.
You just have to pray the Bills can beat them once or something. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only chance.
I'll say they do have games left against the Ravens, which I don't know if that's going to be too difficult now.
Nope.
Against the Texans, which they always beat the Texans.
That'll be competitive. They have two competitive games. Big fucking whoop. The Broncos have had competitive games every week this season.
Yeah. They still have a game against the Browns,
And also, I don't know the last time I said big
Bengals.
whoop.
Big freaking whoop.
Big whoop.
Big freaking whoop.
Took me back to like middle school.
Yeah.
I can't talk about the Patriots anymore.
Yeah, I didn't know they said that back in the 80s.
I'm taking them to win.
Yeah, I'll take the Patriots to win and the Giants to cover. Okay, and from Thursday night, we're going to very early Monday morning, 6:30 a.m. for me, 7:30 for you.
7:30 a.m.
We got the Panthers at the Buccaneers. All I have to say is it's too early to play football. It's going to be – I'm not great at math, but whatever 6:30 a.m. plus 8 hours is, that's what time it's going to be locally for the Panthers and the Buccaneers. And the Panthers are favored by 2 points.
How often do division games like that happen in London, I wonder?
I don't think very often.
They're in the same division, right?
Yes.
I just the Bucks to me are just like a floating team that aren't actually a part of any division.
Yeah, they're independent like Notre Dame
right.
or BYU.
Panthers are looking like a pretty good team.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying they just have to like ride it out until they get Cam Newton back. And my response is, why? Why is it so obvious that they should go back to Cam Newton when Kyle Allen has won 3 games in a row, played really, really well, and I think gotten the most out of this offense. Definitely gotten the most out of Christian McCaffrey. I think he's better at throwing the short ball to Christian McCaffrey and puts him in situations where he can get a lot of yards after the catch because he has better mechanics and short ball accuracy than Cam Newton because he actually is a quarterback that knows how to use his feet.
He's got
legs as opposed to Cam, who just throws all arm and misses easy throws.
You know who else I feel like doesn't have touch like Cam Newton for the short passes is Joe Flacco. And it's
not great.
It's like a weird thing to see a quarterback who and I don't know if this is true with Cam, but it's like their problem is they just throw short passes too hard.
Yeah, they throw them too hard, and ball placement is so important on those short throws because it's the difference between breaking a tackle or getting tackled in the backfield.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting decision. And it's not like Kyle Allen's been crazy good. That his
first game was excellent. I think
was awesome. And then he's thrown 1 touchdown since then. So he's just playing smart football, and Christian McCaffrey is insane, and their defense is pretty good. Tampa Bay is a better team this season, though, than I thought they would be. And
yeah, I agree.
Their defensive front's tough. Like, I think Shaq Barrett versus Kyle Allen. I like Shaq Barrett in that matchup.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew Shaq Barrett was going to slow down eventually. That's kind of the nature of.
I think he's going to get like 2 sacks this week.
I think that'd be a good outcome for him. Be a good outcome. I'm going to take. You know what? I'll take the Buccaneers because I'm going to follow their little pattern of winning a game, losing a game, winning a game, losing a game.
Yeah.
I lost last week, so I'm gonna take him to get a victory here. Yeah,
I'm gonna take Tampa Bay too, actually. And I like the Panthers. I was really high on them. Like I was watching them last week, but then the defense kind of gave up some points. So I don't know. Tampa Bay can score. They've got weapons. We're both going Bucks.
They sure do.
Chiefs and Texans.
This is a good game, and it's in the morning slot. Yeah, Texans and Chiefs. The Chiefs are favored by 5 points at home after losing to the Colts on Sunday Night Football in the same building.
Yeah, where their offense struggled because the Colts were
very good.
And the Colts were eating up clock.
To stop. Yeah,
eating up that clock with that run game. Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, both 11 touchdowns. Just 1 interception between the two. Can you guess who has the interception, Will?
Deshaun Watson.
That is correct. The main difference is Watson's been sacked 18 times this season, and Mahomes just 7. Which this game might be interesting because the Chiefs' line's a little beat up. Also, defensive tackle Chris Jones dealing with a groin injury.
Yep.
Mahomes
has, a slight ankle injury, which is what people use to deflect this terrible game against the Colts. And I'm sure that if he loses this game, that'll be the excuse too. And probably for the rest of the season, maybe his entire career.
When does Tyreek Hill come back?
Possibly this week, but with our luck, probably against the Broncos. Which should be the next Thursday. So they've got they're playing at home, and then they go on the road to Denver shortly.
It's Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, next week's going to suck for me.
Why is that?
Because Thursday night Broncos games, it's like all my work is condensed into a shorter amount of time. Don't worry. I'll be asking for a lot of help. Who are you taking in this game, though, Will?
Give me the Texans. Give me the Houston Texans.
Texans to win. Yep. Chiefs drop 2 in a row.
Yeah. I think Chris Jones, in all seriousness, Chris Jones is a very valuable piece to that defense. And without them, I don't know how they stop the run. I don't know how they get pressure. I don't know how they do a lot of things. Frank Clark has been a total bust for the Chiefs this season. I think they'd rather have Justin Houston back, who showed them why they're too quick to let him go. I like the Texans' ability to, Watson gets sacked a lot, but I think a lot of it is because he's aggressive and he waits for big plays to open up, and that's a byproduct. I think he'll take a few more sacks in exchange for a few deep balls, which he's been pulling off really well. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL.
Will Fuller's starting to look fully healthy.
Great, yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins having a very quiet season.
But I think that could change against a really, really bad defense.
I think that definitely changes against the Chiefs, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs to win.
Okay, that's our first
disagreement
of the show. All right, we got Eagles at Vikings. Minnesota by 3. On one hand, the Eagles are better than the Vikings, I think. On the other hand, it is Kirk Cousins at home in a 10 o'clock game. So that's usually when he pulls off his magic.
And he played well last week after
he did, against the
Giants. Everybody crapped on him. Yes, it was the Giants.
It was the morning game.
This is interesting matchup. Right now, the Eagles, they have the second best third down offense in the league. So they're converting 52.9% of their third downs. Wentz, 117.4 passer rating on third down, Will.
Yep.
But Dalvin Cook, second leading rusher in the league, 542 yards. He's only behind Christian McCaffrey. Eagles had They had 10 sacks last week?
Oh, I don't know. I guess so.
Yeah, they had 10 sacks last week, Will.
A lot. I don't even remember who they played.
They played the Jets.
Oh, well, it doesn't count.
So the Jets, both the Eagles and the Vikings are coming off of New York games.
Right. Technically, that play where Orlando Scandrick just took the ball out of Luke Falk's hands, that counts as a sack.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Give me that ball, and I'm going to run it back for a touchdown.
Yep.
Man, I'm going to take the Eagles, though.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Eagles as well.
I think they're a better team than Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota, I feel like, is going to be very up and down all year long.
It's pretty much who they are. Kirk Cousins, he's not great at stringing together multiple game stretches where he can avoid turnovers and stay efficient, basically. But it does help to have a really strong running game that he didn't have last year. But I think the Eagles' defense is pretty good enough to limit that. So, I'll take the Eagles on the road in a tough spot. I think the Eagles will go on a little bit of a run here.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
Yeah. Well,
I think they have that potential.
Okay. Really exciting game here. The winless Bengals at the 3-2 Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 11, which I think is
it's a little high.
Fair given their records. Based on their style of play, I think I'd probably take the Bengals to cover.
Yeah, I was trying to talk myself into picking the Bengals for this game because I feel like of the winless teams, the Bengals are the best. And the Ravens barely beat the Steelers last week, and they needed some luck to do it. But the Steelers, I mean, they beat the piss out of the Bengals.
Do you think that Justin Tucker field goal was good?
I don't know. I would have to look at it. Was there a controversy?
Yeah. Because it went like directly over the upright.
Oh.
And apparently the rule is if it goes over the upright, it's good. It's really subjective, honestly. Because if the uprights were extended, it clearly would have hit and probably bounced no good.
You know what they say? Justin Tucker always gets the favorable calls.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He's like the Tom Brady of kickers.
Right. He's always complaining to the refs when he misses a field goal by 10 feet.
And they just give it to him.
Kicker calls when no one touches him.
It to him.
Right.
I didn't see that. I mean, I see so much every Sunday. I didn't know that was even a thing.
Yeah. Interesting idea, though, by Dave Damashek to put a crossbar on top of the uprights to make it a box that you have to kick through. That's
stupid. The one thing the NFL doesn't need is for field goals to be harder. If they wanted to, they could extend lasers up from the top of the goalposts, and if it hit the laser light, you would know that it went in. Like
it should be a buzzer too.
Yeah, like hockey, like a hockey goal.
Yeah.
Now, if they wanted to put a box within the upper, like a target in the uprights, that if you hit it, it's worth like an extra point, then now we're talking.
Yep.
Anyway, Bengals Ravens. Lamar Jackson is trending down, and I don't think very many people are talking about this.
Yes.
He's 5 picks to 4 touchdowns the last 3 weeks. He looked so good that first week and pretty good the second week and hasn't really played a full solid game of football since then. I think there's questions with the Bengals defense. The Ravens defense.
Yeah.
I was trying to, like I said, figure out a way for them to lose this game, but I think they're going to win.
I do think Joe Mixon and Andy Dalton will eventually coincide and have a good game with one another. I don't know if it's this week, though.
No.
The safe pick is definitely to take the Ravens. I'm tempted to I don't know, because I think the Bengals will eventually, they're talented enough on offense. To
me, they're like a bad version of the Broncos where their potential to win is so much higher than what we've seen with the bad teams this season.
Yeah, but they haven't been losing close games. That's the thing.
Recently, yeah. At first, they were keeping it close.
They lost a close game to Arizona, but if you lose a close game to Arizona, it's like being blown out.
Right. That's what I looked at who they played. I'm like, yeah, they're not a great team.
They got beat by the Steelers with Mason Rudolph.
So we'll both take the Ravens, what we're saying.
Yeah, and the Ravens, I should say, were lucky to win that game against the Steelers, not just because of the field goal, but I don't think that Juju Smith-Schuster play was a fumble at all.
See? Yeah, there were some bad calls in that game.
Yeah, roughing the passer, apparently. I didn't see that. But
yeah, that was
bad. Word that it was bad.
No, it was bad.
Not that we would know. Not that you and I would know anything about that.
No. But the Bengals do play the Jets and Dolphins later this season, so I project them to get 2 wins.
Yep.
Okay. Seahawks Browns. Seattle only favored by 1.5 points. Will?
That was surprising to me. That was really surprising.
That seems ridiculous.
Like you said, they have 10 days of rest to work with.
Uh-huh.
Russell Wilson is playing better than any quarterback in the NFL right now. 12 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Best QB
Browns
on earth.
coming off of not only a short week, but they have to travel back home from the West Coast. So I think that takes a little bit out of you. They're coming off of a really emotional loss, I feel like, with a lot of distractions kind of following that. People expect them to bounce back a little bit, and I think that's what the line reflects. And I think they're just going to get beaten horribly.
The Seahawks?
No, the Browns. I think they're going to get. I think they're going to get trounced.
You're picking the Browns?
No, the Seahawks.
Oh,
Picking the Seahawks.
okay. I'm picking the Seahawks too. I was trying to trick you into picking the Browns.
Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to win. I think it won't. I think the Browns are going to play better, but this point spread doesn't make sense to me. But Vegas knows shit we don't, so we'll see.
They do.
We'll see. Then we got Saints Jaguars.
Yeah, just to kind of hurry through this game, I'm taking the Jags, and they're favored too. They're favored by a point at home.
Okay.
And I believe in them. I think Teddy Bridgewater's been playing so well, but I think there will be one letdown game, and I don't think that's I don't think that's a bad sign for New Orleans. I think it's just how the schedule works. Yeah,
that's fair.
I got the Jags.
I think that's fair. I'm going to pick the Saints. I agree with you that the way Bridgewater's been playing feels like it's got to give at some point. And you know how much I love my Gardner. But I think the Saints have the Bears next week. That defense is – I mean, the Jags defense can be really good, but I think they're going to lose next week. So I'm going to take the Saints this week for sure. Okay. And I gotta keep beating you. So
Yeah, that's really what I wanted. Is I wanted a little bit of variation there on the picks.
There we go.
Okay, so we got the W-word Redskins against the Miami Dolphins. The Redskins are favored by 3.5 on the road. Like you wrote here, this probably the worst game in NFL history. I don't even know who the Redskins are starting at quarterback. I know it's not Dwayne Haskins.
I believe they're starting Keenum.
They're starting Keenum again.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. In that case, I think they win.
Yeah. Case elevates that team quite a bit to guarantee a victory over the Dolphins.
He had them playing pretty well on offense the first few games of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I was laughing as I said it, but he is –
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
He is better than Colt McCoy.
Yes.
He is better than Dwayne Haskins right now.
Mm-hmm.
Does either team want to even win this game, though? I think Washington might.
I think they're stupid enough to really want to win.
They have to really believe in Dwayne Haskins, so they don't need the number 1 pick next year. So if they're picking 2, it can't be much of a difference for them.
Although they were so divided on Dwayne Haskins that I wouldn't be surprised if they gave up on him after a year.
But I'm assuming the coach they bring in has to be a Dwayne Haskins guy, right?
I mean, people assume that the Cardinals coach had to be a Josh Rosen guy, right? Speaking of Josh Rosen, he's actually been playing pretty well for Miami. He's gotten some bad luck. His receivers have been really bad. His offensive line's been really bad, but he's kind of been the lone bright spot on that team. And the Dolphins have said that they're sticking with him for the rest of the season.
Well, that's good, at least.
I know. We're all rooting for Josh Rosen. I think he's been through enough in his NFL career already that we want him to find a good home.
What if he goes to the Patriots?
Like a stray dog.
After whatever happens in Miami.
After he goes where?
What if he goes to the Patriots?
Oh, no, I don't sign off on that.
That would be
probably play really well.
Yeah.
He'd play better than he'd be an upgrade over Brady, that's for sure.
Way better than Tom.
Yeah. So I'm taking the Redskins.
Whew. Yeah. I'll take Washington too because I really don't think the Dolphins want to win.
No. But at this point, the Jets. Here's the thing about the Jets. They could tank the games they play against the Dolphins. Maybe the idea is they're rushing Sam Darnold out there too early. His spleen explodes. He's out for the rest of the season at least.
Pretty sure
They
he'd
put
be
Luke
dead.
Falk back in, and they go 0-16. They out-tank the Dolphins in those two games, or they play each other. They get the first pick.
And then
or they just trade the first pick.
But then the Dolphins take Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen spend the rest of their career playing together.
That would be interesting.
That'd be the weirdest fucking shit to ever happen.
The two Los Angeles quarterbacks.
All right, so we're both taking Washington. Also, my wife Jess wanted to remind everybody that she picked the Panthers to win last week, and she called that game correctly.
Sure. Yeah, she has better winning percentage than the two of us.
She's 100% on the season. Yep. So, okay, then we got 49ers Rams. This should be a very interesting game, Will.
This is maybe the best game of the week right now. First big test, I think, for the 49ers.
Yeah.
Their first divisional game. So they have 4 games left against the Rams and the Seahawks. That'll be really kind of what the division comes down to, I think. But they've been dealing – they lost a lot of pieces on that offense. Joe Staley's been out. Mike McGlinchey went down in the Monday Night Football game. And I think an underrated injury is Kyle Juszczyk, the fullback, because he's one of the big reasons they have so much success on the ground. So it's a tough one, and I'm going to end up taking the Rams.
Ooh, yeah. This feels like I don't want to call it a trap game, but it feels like a trap game.
I don't think it's really a trap for either.
It's not that's what I'm saying. It's not a trap, but it feels like the kind of game where momentum and everybody is really high on the 49ers, and then it's going to come crashing down in this game. That said, though, the Rams really haven't been performing to the level offensively that we think they should, even though they're the 6th highest scoring offense, 29.2 points per game. San Francisco is currently 2nd, 31.8. Not having your starting right and left tackle is pretty tough, even for Kyle Shanahan to
coach around. It's a tough thing to overcome, especially against the Rams.
Man, I don't know. Because do you think the 49ers defensive line is legit?
Yeah, I do. They've sunk so many resources into that defensive line. If you think about it, they spent a first-rounder on Eric Armstead. They spent a first-rounder on DeForest Buckner. Spent a first-rounder on Solomon Thomas, who hasn't really done anything. And then another first-rounder. They spent 2 second overall picks on defensive linemen. And it's starting to pay off a little bit.
Nick Bosa's becoming the difference maker.
Imagine if Solomon Thomas was good. Although if Solomon Thomas was good, they probably wouldn't have taken Bosa.
That's fair.
Bosa's good. He's really good.
There's a lot of talent there. The Rams, I feel like they can give up a lot of rushing. I'm going to go with the 49ers. But
okay.
Fuck it. Falcons, Cardinals. I don't think anybody even cares about this game right now.
Nope. I'm going to take the Cardinals.
Ooh, I'll take the Falcons.
Okay. By the way, the Rams were favored by 3.5, and the Falcons were favored by 2.5. Okay. A game that means a lot to the both of us. Titans at Broncos. Broncos trying to start a little winning streak here. I think it's fortunate that they get the Titans at home because I think it's a very winnable game.
Yeah.
The Titans, speaking of bad offensive lines, Titans have one right now, and they can't protect Marcus Mariota very well. We don't know what kind of Titans offense we're going to get in this game, but I don't suspect it's going to be the good one. Big chance for Malik Reed to prove himself here against the pretty poor line, against a quarterback that holds the ball. I'm taking the Broncos like I do every week. It finally worked out. An interesting note is they cut Cairo Santos after he missed 4 field goals last week.
Yeah, that's bad.
Against the Bills. The 4th one, he shouldn't have even attempted. Mike Vrabel shouldn't have called the field goal.
It was a 54-yarder.
Yeah, and sure enough, they replaced him with Cody Parkey.
Cody Parkey coming to
glad
Tennessee.
He's got another job. I'm glad for him.
Yeah, I'm glad he's making his debut against the Broncos, although he'll probably kick the game winner. That's the kind of season the Broncos have had. We'll jump into this in more depth, but I'll say the Broncos right now.
Okay. All right.
For tomorrow's episode, I mean.
Yeah, tomorrow's episode coming up soon.
Oh, Cowboys Jets. Dak Prescott going to look good again. Well, he's going to look good again.
This is just what the doctor ordered, I think, for the Cowboys after 2 straight losses. They're favored by 7. Do we know if Sam Darnold's playing?
I think he is, yeah.
I think he is, yeah. So Le'Veon Bell has been accounting for half of the Jets' offense this year.
51.8%.
That's a lot.
I think second was Christian McCaffrey. But my question is, what's 51.8% of nothing?
Of 0, yeah.
It is. That is the least. That is
still 0.
The Jets. Adam Gase is a terrible head coach, I feel like. I feel like it's safe to say.
We got to give him
some time with the Jets.
We got to give him a shot with a starting quarterback. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
We got to give him a shot. I think if you really did the math, I think I don't think the Jets have more offensive yards than their opponents have return yards off of Jets turnovers.
Jesus.
I mean, that's probably wrong, but it's funny. I think we're both taking the Cowboys here. Really good shot for them to shake off a couple losses. They really looked non-competitive last week against the Packers for most of the game, and they got a lot done in garbage time.
Yeah, they were down. Were they down 28-0 in that game?
I think it was 31-3, maybe.
31-3, 28-3.
We didn't get to watch the game because we were focused on Denver upsetting the Los Angeles Chargers on the home road.
So we're both taking the Cowboys.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football.
This Steelers-Chargers should have been a good game. But Steelers are going to most likely be starting Devlin Hodges. I don't think I think you got to be a bad person to try and start Mason Rudolph this week after what happened to his head last week.
I think they should start Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, he's just got an elbow problem.
Yeah, after seeing Mason Rudolph, I think there's no excuse for Ben Roethlisberger not to play.
The Steelers defense starting to play a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
they've gotten better definitely since the Minkah Fitzpatrick trade, as they should have. Of course it's a terrible season to be a Dolphins fan, but I think you channel all of your energy, if you're a Dolphins fan, into rooting against the Steelers every week.
Why?
Because they own the Steelers' first-round pick.
Oh, that's right.
Fitzpatrick trade. See if they can get 2 top 5 picks.
Yeah, that would be cool. Devlin Hodges, I know very little about him. He was okay last week. Oh, you know what sucked, too, about Mason Rudolph's injury is the play he got hurt was what I thought, one of his best plays so far.
Yeah.
He scrambled to buy time while keeping his eyes downfield. I think it might have even been third down to complete the pass, and then just got smashed in his face by Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Did you think a lot of people want Earl Thomas to be suspended or ejected or whatever?
No,
I think what he did looked intentional to me. I don't know. It looked like their faces kind of collided.
I don't think it was necessarily super intentional. I think the reaction is just based on the result of the play.
Right.
I don't think if they saw that and Mason Rudolph wasn't horribly concussed. Honestly, we haven't talked about it, but when you saw that, because I saw it live on Red Zone,
Yeah, me too.
And it looked like he might actually be dead.
Yeah. No,
and I'm not joking. He was like,
I was scared.
He's dead. He went completely limp. I've never seen a player go down quite like that. One of the scarier injuries since like when Anquan Bolden was like spazzing out on the field with his hands.
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago though.
There was a few scary injuries this last week. Even Devontae Bosby when he got hit.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph.
Really too bad for the Broncos.
Mason Rudolph, he got knocked out. And Devontae Bosby, they said he was paralyzed for like 30 minutes. But I'm trying to think who got hit where their body like fell and they were conscious, but none of their limbs were moving.
Right.
Fuck, who did that happen to last week? I can't remember who it was because I've consumed so much, but I thought that one was even scarier than the Mason Rudolph one. But Rudolph definitely got knocked out. It is unsettling when you see that.
It was also a weird image seeing him walk off the field because the cart didn't work.
Right.
The NFL said that he chose to walk off the field by himself. Couldn't be more of a lie. First of all, they pushed the cart off of the field.
Yeah.
And also, like they would allow Mason Rudolph to make that choice for himself.
Yeah,
after he doesn't even know what year it is.
Yeah,
That's more of a lie than Richard Sherman saying Baker Mayfield didn't shake his hand. I think the NFL should fine themselves.
And if it's not a lie, it's an even more embarrassing testament to the medical staff out there not knowing what the fuck to do.
Right. So just say the cart broke. Just say the cart broke.
They said there was another cart available, but that was a bad look.
Really bad. It's weird to see a helmet with no face mask on for a player that's like totally out of it, walking with the aid of two people on each shoulder.
One guy gave me shit for making a joke about Mason Rudolph's helmet.
Oh,
so I said the NFL should be ashamed for letting a quarterback play with a helmet like that and get injured.
It does look weird. It does look like one of those leather helmets.
Yeah, it's bizarre looking, and it's like I wasn't making a joke about him getting hurt. You guy.
Chiefs fan.
Yeah, so there were some bad injuries last week, or scary really looking injuries last week. And Bosby in the Broncos game, he got hit by
his own guy,
Alexander Johnson. Yeah, it's just. It sucks when you see that shit, but it happens every week.
It does, yeah, especially because, we all love the Bosby story. He's been cut so many times, and he's playing in the Alliance of American Football last season, which you and I both watched a ton. And he was one of the standout players from that league, and he was, making that whole experience or that whole experiment kind of worthwhile because he turned it into like a growth experience for him and came back and was playing really good football for Denver. And it feels like all those players have just been kind of getting hurt from the AAF. And I know this is a freak thing, but I wonder if the strain of having played
two football seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, not full, but like kind of 1.5 football seasons within, one calendar year has been a little taxing on them, maybe.
I would imagine. And I would be willing to bet that that's contributed to a handful of injuries.
Yeah, not this one necessarily, but
no, there've been
a lot of other guys that got hurt.
So that's why we're both picking the Chargers. Or are you picking Steelers?
This is a game. This is a great Monday or Sunday Night Football game. Last year, Ben Roethlisberger was playing. Obviously, the Chargers got away with a blatant false start that turned into a touchdown.
That was cool.
They came back. Shouldn't have won that game at all. But, I think this game they will win. Although this game is going to be – if you thought the Broncos had a lot of fans in the stadium, just wait until the Steelers take over.
Ooh, prime time.
It is going to be terrible towels in every corner of that stadium. It's going to be completely yellow. Home field advantage, definitely, for the Steelers in this one.
Yeah.
I don't think Rivers is going to be able – they're going to have to go silent count in their own stadium again.
Well, I still think they're going to win.
Yeah, probably. Although it could be close. I don't know if they'll cover. They're favored by 7.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think they should be getting Melvin Ingram back too. So.
Yeah. Melvin Ingram, I'm not sure if they've gotten Melvin Gordon back last week. I couldn't tell if he was playing or not.
Couldn't tell. He didn't do anything.
Yeah. All right. So good Monday Night Football game.
Packers, Lions.
The 2-1-1 Lions at the frozen tundra against the Packers, who are 4-1. Green Bay is favored by 4. I'm taking the Packers at home.
Yeah, should be noted. Should be noted the Lions have won the last 4 games against the Packers.
True.
That shocked me. Like, I found that to be a shocking stat.
Yeah.
Stafford, 9 touchdowns, 0 picks against Green Bay. And Detroit, in all of those meetings, have scored 30, 31, 31, and 35 points. Green Bay currently only allowing 18.6, though. This is a different defense, Will.
Yeah,
Do you think the Packers defense got a little overhyped early this season?
Probably.
I was on that train.
They didn't play very good teams or very good offenses.
No. But then they looked great against Dallas. But then they kind of Dallas Cowboys sort of get back into it.
They gave up 200 yards to Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
I think they're a good complementary offense as long as because they get turnovers. And that's always been – because when the Packers won the Super Bowl, something they had a great defense is that they had a defense that was very timely in taking the ball away.
Yeah, that was like the Broncos' second Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Their defense was great at I guess both. It was a turnover-heavy defense. They weren't great, but they would give their offense opportunities to score.
Short fields.
Yeah, the Packers are I think slowly evolving into what should be a really good team by the end of the season, primed for a playoff push.
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to win this division. It's a really tough division, though.
I think the Lions' win streak comes to an end, but if the Lions get a win here, that's a big boost for Detroit, which is, I think, a scrappy good team.
I do too. Yeah, no, I think they should have won that Chiefs game, if not for a little tomfoolery from the refs. But yeah, no, this is a good team. They bounced back, I think.
And they had a bye, right? They were on a
they had a bye, so they bounced back by not losing. I like what they're doing. They run the ball pretty well. Matt Stafford is playing pretty clean football, I think. They should be 3-1, really. Yeah. And they're a few plays from being 4-0. So I like this game to be competitive at least.
It should be a good Monday night game.
Yeah. I think Green Bay, though, might have a little bit of resentment after Matt Prater threw a touchdown against them last year.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
I think it was it might have been week 17.
Oh, man.
It was late in the season.
Yeah, I think that week Aaron Rodgers wasn't even playing. And I think the Lions,
the Packers had given up at that point.
Yeah. Well, so are you taking the Pack? We're both taking the Packers? Or are you going to go with the Lions?
Yeah, I got to take the Packers.
Okay.
So that's it. Those are the games.
That's football. That's football.
Undefeated week for both of us in our picks.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm gaining on you, Will.
Yeah, you're coming up. You're in the rearview mirror. Gaining ground.
Well, thanks for listening. If you made it this far, who the fuck knows anymore? But that week, what are we? Is this week 6?
This is week 6, yeah. It's going quickly, isn't it?
Oh,
it always does. It always does.
Okay, see you guys next week.
See ya.